Hey, I'm Key, also known as Blue Dawnflower, and today I'm going to be talking about Pokemon, how I came to like it, and my ultimate Pokemon dream team. I've liked Pokemon since I was really little. I grew up in the early 2000s, so the Pokemon anime was really popular, and I would watch it all the time. That's where I discovered my love for Pokemon, because I never played the games or the TCG as a kid. I honestly don't think I even realized that the Pokemon video games existed until I saw ads for Black and White when they came out. Of course, I was familiar with the TCG because cards were being advertised all the time, and I saw them everywhere growing up. But I guess it just didn't dawn on me that Pokemon was based on a video game until I was in, 4th grade? And I'd been watching the anime since I was basically a baby, so it took me a while to catch on. I started playing the Game Boy Advance Pokemon games on an emulator when I was in middle school. I played halfway through Pokemon Leaf Green and Pokemon Sapphire, but my first actual Pokemon game I owned for real was Pokemon X, so I'm really attached to Generation 6 because that was my first real in-depth dive into the Pokemon franchise. Kalos is one of my favorite regions without a doubt. I love the landscape, the soundtrack, all of it. I think it's great. My Pokemon dream team is half Pokemon I've liked since I was a kid, and half Pokemon I started to like after I played Pokemon X. Starting from left to right, I really like Litleo because lions are my favorite animals, and I really love the design for Pyroar. Definitely one of my favorites from Generation 6, no doubt. I like how its color scheme mixes natural and neutral tones with more bright and warm colors, and how the segments of its mane sort of curl at the ends. It's a good aesthetic for a fire type based on a real-life animal. I don't think I used them on my first playthrough of Pokemon X, but I have used them since then, and they've become one of my favorites. It's not a particularly strong fire type, but it's still really cool. I may just be biased because I love lions, but hey, who isn't biased when it comes to their favorite Pokemon? The Marill line is another one of my favorites. I caught an Azurill early in the game in Pokemon X, and it became a token water type of my team. I really love baby Pokemon, even though I know the opinion of them is really mixed among fans, so Azurill really stole my heart. Marill is also really cute, but in my opinion, Azurill and Azumarill are better than Marill in terms of design. I still love Marill though, don't get me wrong. I mean, who couldn't love a Pokemon that's basically just a rounder, bluer version of Pikachu? It's adorable. I ended up beating the Elite Four with my Azumarill and the rest of my original Pokemon X team. I don't remember all of the Pokemon that were on that team, but I think I had an Azumarill, a Delphox, a Florges, and maybe a Jolteon? I know I had one of the evolutions, but I don't remember which one. It wasn't a Leafeon, though. Eevee is obviously a classic. Everyone loves Eevee. Even people who think Eevee is overrated don't dislike Eevee. I mean, come on, look at it, it's so cute! I honestly love all of the evolutions, but Leafeon is my favorite. It's actually my favorite Pokemon of all time. I love grass types and normal types, and this is a grass type that evolves from a normal type, so it fits. Plus, its design is just so cute. I like how the leaves on its ears and tail sort of have this gradient of dark green to the pale yellow that makes up most of its color scheme. And the leaf on its forehead really adds to its charm. It's like one of those curls that anime characters have sometimes, you know? I love any Pokemon that takes inspiration from real-life animals, but still have their own aesthetic, and the evolutions are basically the champions of that category. They're like foxes mixed with cats, but they have their own thing going for them, and their elemental elements help give them their own unique characteristics, and I think that's really cool. Now, I know I said I love grass types and normal types, but fairy types are also some of my favorites. When I saw Flabebe in Pokemon X, it immediately became one of my favorites. I tend to like small, cutesy Pokemon, so obviously I like one of the smallest Pokemon out there. The variation with the flowers was a really nice element that they added to this line. I like seeing Pokemon who have variations besides just shinies. It's a Pokemon that really fits into the landscape of Kalos, with all the flower fields and shrubs that they have in the landscape. One thing I don't get is why they didn't include a purple flower, because you can find them in the lavender fields on Route 7. It would have been kind of cool to see that added, in my opinion. Another thing I don't really get about the Flabebe line is, why aren't they grass and fairy type? Why just fairy type? I know there's already grass and fairy types, but the Flabébé line fits the aesthetic perfectly, and it can learn grass-type moves, so why doesn't it have a grass-type distinction? I don't get it. Baniri is one of my favorites from my childhood. I remember I never really got into the Diamond and Pearl anime, but I still loved Baniri and Lopunny for their designs. I remember I had a plush of Baniri as a kid, and one of my friends from elementary school who was really into the Pokemon games said something like, "You can't pick your favorite Pokemon based on how cute it is. Baniri has terrible stats." And, of course, me not knowing about the Pokemon games and having never played the TCG, I had no idea what he was talking about. I'm still of the opinion that someone's favorite Pokemon doesn't necessarily have to be a quote-unquote good Pokemon stat-wise. People can like Pokemon based on whatever they want. If they like them because of their designs, that's cool. If they like them because of their stats, that's cool too. Earlier I said I might be biased for Pyroar and Litleo because they're lions, and I love lions, but rabbits are some of my favorite animals too. And I'm just now realizing that Azumarill and Lopunny are both rabbit-themed. Finally, admitting my bias once again, the Shinx line is another one of my childhood favorites. Like I said with Litleo, I love lions, and of course, as a kid, a Pokemon based on your favorite animal is pretty much an automatic favorite. I actually drew a picture of Baniri and Shinx 2 years ago, so I like to imagine that these are the same two Pokemon from that drawing. When I was in elementary school, I had a similar experience to the Baniri plush story with a Shinx card I got in a cereal box or something. Even though Luxray is a pretty good Pokemon stat-wise, a friend of mine still thought it was silly of me to like Shinx because I thought it was cute. I think those experiences are actually what solidified the Shinx and Baniri lines as two of my favorites, ironically enough. I've been kind of ignoring middle evolutions for most of this video, but I wanted to say that Luxio is my favorite middle evolution design. It really embraces the moody teenager stereotype for middle evolutions, which makes it really charming. And there you have it. My Pokemon Dream Team. Hopefully I'll have more Pokemon content in the future. After all, Sword and Shield had their trailer release a few days ago, so I've got a lot of things to talk about and draw in the future. Thanks for watching this. I hope you enjoyed listening to me talk about some of my favorite Pokemon. See ya!